This weekend's Mother's Day, unless you're watching this on like a random Tuesday, and while I'm not a mother, my wife certainly is. And what better Pokemon to celebrate than with the original mama of the Pokemon franchise, who I feel takes Bring Your Child to Work Day a little too seriously. Also, what better to celebrate our mama than to mash it together with hundreds of other Pokemon and see what cool stuff happens. This is Pokemon Infinite Fusion, the fan game with over 175,000 different Pokemon combinations, and we're going to be playing a Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Kangaskhan Fusions. That means if a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead. The level cap is going to be the next leader's ace. No active items can be used in battle, and we're going to be playing on set mode. Make sure you like and subscribe because less than 10% of you are. And don't you want my mother to be proud of me? Shout out to Theo for suggesting this to be the Mother's Day episodes. I always intended on doing a Kangaskhan run, but honestly, this was perfect. We start things off in Oak Slab, and our starter choices are Rhyperior, Absol, and Mankey. In these runs, I generally try to only use custom sprites, so I go for Rhyperior, even though giving my rival a fighting Pokemon is probably a horrible idea. I forget to fuse it before we fight Rando, and he sends out this monstrosity. Look at his feet. We do okay damage with the Horn attack, but 2 low kicks and we lose our first battle. But that's okay. Fusing our first mama with this rock, this sprite works super well. It's just like she has cool armor on. While gearing up to face off against Rando on Route 22, we gather up some new single moms and have them join our party. Fusing Gardevoir, this Karen definitely starts some stuff over at the PTO. Charizard is so proud of her little Charmy. I love how well these sprites incorporate both designs. And Arbok is fierce. I love that she's just a Naga from Monster Rancher. Over on Route 22, it's time for us to battle Rando and get access to the Secret Garden, and it's time for us to show off some of our mamas. He starts things off with a Magna Barrel, who's excellent, and I send in Million, our Hitmonchan fusion. Apparently I forgot to record the fusion, but this one's a single dad, so shout out to all of you too. Anywho, Mansell goes down too quickly, and we move on to Brock. A Magnezone in the garden, and fusing them, I love his little pod. It kind of reminds me of Bowser Jr. Brock is rock hard, and we all know how much he loves older women. And honestly, if Brock's anime interpretation is canon, he's a mother as well, so happy Mother's Day, Brock. He sheds a single tear, and the battle begins. Brock sends out Kubaron, and we start off with Big Bertha for some reason, but a Fake Out and Hammer Arm take care of business. Tyrandolo is awesome. After getting it to about half, he scores a critical hit. No! We already lost our first Pokemon, Bertha. I was so excited when my starter was fully evolved and compatible. I will remember you always. Sending Million in, which is probably what I should have done from the start, we finish things off quickly with a close combat Mach Punch combo, securing our first badge. While working our way over to Mount Moon, we grab ourselves a Feraligatr. And the way the faceplate works into the sprite, she kinda seems like a grown-up version of the baby. Nurse Joy, one of the original anime mamas, is tending to an injured rock outside of Mount Moon. Brock rushes in to try to impress Joy, since all rocks are his children. And we head inside the cave. In Mount Moon, we grab a Pidgeot Honedge fusion, and this is neat. We get a 2-for-1 special. 2 guys dressed in black are bragging about how they beat up some rock and threw it outside. We follow them deeper into the cave because we do not like bullies. Eventually, we find Team Rocket attempting a triple fusion. They send in this nerd to fight us so they can try to buy some more time. A few quick hits take him down, and Million gets a little overzealous, punching the fusion machine, destroying everything. Giovanni throws a temper tantrum, and they leave without picking up their toys, and that's just rude. Over on Route 4, we grab a Trapinch, and we get ready for our next rival battle. Over on Nugget Bird, we find Rando wearing nothing but a diaper and holding a rattle. As one of our mamas goes to pick him up, he throws off the diaper and is somehow fully clothed, and he challenges us to a battle. Quidoof is his second Doof fusion this run already, and I love him, but after a few punches, it goes down. Okay, Celadon, this thing is amazing. I honestly expect to go down here, but all it can do is make funny faces at us, so we take it down pretty quickly. Gagon is out third, and assuming this thing is Dragon Rage, we go all out with a close combat, getting the KO, and then Mansell goes down without issue, securing us the win. On our way to Bill's house, we find this little duck. Bill's performing an experiment to fuse himself with a Pokemon. His goal? Honestly, I don't know, but he realizes he's made a huge mistake and asks for our help reversing it. After we do, he gives us some free cruise tickets because he feels like we could use a vacation. How nice. Now it's time to get ready to face off against Misty. She brags about how being a dog parent is just as hard and tosses in this little pupper. An Invader shows exactly how she feels about that. Digheal is an amazing sprite. I love that she's just covered up with dirt. But needing the swamp, we send in Naga, who isn't a good idea either, but at least we have Intimidate. After trading back and forth and getting knocked below half, we take the Seal Mole down, securing our second badge. We find Rando and he's bragging about the number of Pokemon he's caught. He asks us if we're proud of him, but then he decides he doesn't care and starts a battle instead. Sending in Kirby, Figment is able to make quick work of the little guy. but not before he uses his potion. Emperor Drio is awesome, and I love the Raptor talent. I'm not sure if this thing is water or steel, but I guess right, and it goes down. Moa looks like King Dedede to me, and while that's pretty scary, he goes down. Primesol now at least has the correct hands, but 2 hits and this guy is done. With that battle taken care of, fully rested, it's time for us to get back to our gym challenge. Lieutenant Surge salutes us for raising the next generation of Kanto, and he sends out Torchu, and I really like how well most Torterra sprites work. Not sure what type this thing is, we test it out for a bit, and find out that he's grass, not ground, and we're able to take it down. Ryloom is up next, hoping it's grass, we go for an Ice Fang, but it turns out that it's fighting. And after a counter, we need to swap out. Swapping into Million, he heals up. A Mach Punch does okay damage, but another counter is very annoying. We swap into Invader since he uses special attacks, and 2 Tri-Attacks take it down. Roserray is his final Pokemon, and as he charges up, we fire off another Tri-Attack and basically do nothing. After taking some bites, we're well below half, and this thing is an absolute monster. Not really having any other good options, I just pray for status condition with Tri-Attack, but unfortunately, a powered-up Spark takes our mothership down. Sending Nagi in, I go for the Fake Out for some chip damage, and then in the Million since we have priority attacks, and we managed to break through, getting the KO with a Mach Punch, and earning our 3rd badge. Heading towards Rock Town, we add some more mamas to the party, including BlizzCon, who just had her hair done, by the way. Next, I love how Rykon has a Plusle and Mine in her pouch. This one's top tier. Rando was waiting for us in Pokemon Tower. He starts ranting on and on about Cubone being a baby Kangaskhan theory. Enraged at the mere presence of our happy family, he launches into a battle. Venator is honestly a great sprite, but after a couple of bites, we take the plant down, and he sends in Bugs Bunny? This is the 3rd or 4th Bidoof? I lost count already. But after a few attacks, that's all, folks. I swap into Million against Primesol, and I forget how early it learns Cross Chop. No, Million, you are a single dad just trying to make your way through life. I'm so sorry, buddy. Pixie comes out, and a single Moonblast takes care of things. And Solify luckily goes down quick, ending the battle. Rando apologizes to us for starting the fight, and then we hear another fight breaking out at the end of the hall. Team Rocket is yelling at this older guy, and they take him upstairs to do God knows what. We try to follow, but since all the kids are afraid of the dark, we're gonna need to solve for that before proceeding. On our way to Celadon, we pick up some new friends, and oh my god, a Lugia. We immediately fuse Lugia. And look at her with her babies, it's so adorable. Erica's hanging out by the sewer runoff. When we ask about ghost busting, she springs into action, stating that Team Rocket has what we need to stop Team Rocket. Fighting our way through the base, we eventually find Giovanni, who's already beaten Erica in a battle. If we want those ghost busting goggles, we're gonna need to go through him first. Garvanrelade has an excellent color scheme. We trade back and forth until it gets paralyzed by my static, which means it's bug, not electric, and a Thunder Punch finishes her off. Malade is very proud of his body. So we swap into Pixie, taking 2 huge hits, as we barely managed to do half. Noggin comes in for the Intimidate, a Fake Out. But all we do is kind of rev him up, and honestly, I'm not sure what I expected here. But a Psycho Cut takes down our 4th pal of the run. I'm so sorry, Naga. I guess you won't be coming back from Errant T. I sent a Mother Duck and 2 more hits, take him down. The Leafer Raid is even more awesome. But I know this one's grass, so a couple of Ice Beams finish the battle, and we earn our Night Vision Goggles. Before facing off against Erica, we fuse with Pidgeot, and she just really wants to say hello. This gym is great, it's full of sexy women, and the ladies out here aren't bad either. Erica's always giving off kind of a mommy vibe, but anywho, let's we got a battle for our 4th badge. Charizard is our first Pokemon up against Figment, but a couple of Air Slashes get the job done. Cottonair is an adorable little floof, but now he's on fire! And that leaves Merville, who, I'm not gonna lie, might be my favorite thing ever. I just see him flipping a coin over in an alley, but he's already dead. And now, we have 4 badges. Okay, Kyogre? I've played these runs so many times, and I never get this many legendaries. And after we fuse it, it looks like she's just trying to hold somebody or something back. After that, we find Mr. Fuji, who turns out was the inventor of the Master Ball. He gives us a recorder for checking up on him. This big bear laying in the middle of the road is blocking the way, so we play Hot Cross Buns on our recorder, causing it to wake up and attack us. How rude, he was the one in the way. At some point we caught a Gengar, I forgot to write it down, but we fuse it for the bane of everyone's vanilla run existence. Muck is next, and I love that the baby is just a very happy Grimer in her mouth. Finally, we fuse with the Dragonite I caught in the Safari Zone, and this is honestly a favorite of mine. What a great way to combine both designs. Koga's our next challenge, and while he isn't a mother, he is a single father just doing his best. So, happy Mother's Day, Koga. Octobelle is up first, and the 1-2 combo from Sparky take it out. Holy crap, I don't know what this is, but it has to be some kind of reference. We hit it for big damage with the dig. We get smashed down to 4. After he heals up, we hit it again, and then switch into Genkan for the damage immunity, taking it out on the next turn. Sudozing is up, and I love the Fletchling, but a few Shadow Balls, and this guy's toast. His final Pokemon, Coughlin, puts up more of a fight than I anticipated, but our Mother Duck puts him to bed, earning our next badge. After clearing out Silphco, Rando busts in asking if we're proud of him for getting a job. Before we get the chance to respond, our next rival battle begins. Metabat is amazing. Not sure of his typing, we Dragon Tail it out, and look at this little Pidgey! Such gorgeous hair. After he hits Prime Souls out, and I swap into Leota not wanting to risk a fighting move. Realizing I can't really do anything here, we confuse it and swap into our Duck. And after a few Dragon Rages, it goes down. Unbat is pretty neat. It kind of looks like the eye from Yu Yu Hakusho that the Saint Beasts have, but it goes down quickly and Metabat is back out. After some back and forth, we get it kinda low, so I swap into Figment, assuming it's Steel, and a Flamethrower takes it and Sneeds out, winning the battle. Rando apologizes for being a bad boy and says it'll help us out against Giovanni, who is having some sort of argument with the Sylph president regarding Master Ball production. After noticing that we're here to stop him, a double battle begins with Rando helping us out this time. Alright, both of these sprites are amazing. I love how big his spoon is. In Kiomime? Too bad it isn't Mr. Ogre. After getting knocked down to about half, I go for a dig, doing a lot less than I anticipated, and Sparky goes down to an Origin Pulse. I'm so sorry, Sparky. She was one of my favorites so far this run. Not really having a lot of good options here for this matchup, I send in Leota, who manages to take out the spoon with a Shadow Ball. Kiomime continues to just rampage against us. I figure out it's Fairy, not Psychic, so Shadow Ball is basically all I can use, but eventually I need to swap out. Sending in my own Kyogre, I managed to take him down, and I hate Pikimukyu Fusions. Terrified of Energi's out, I swap into Mother Duck since she's so tanky, and good thing I did. With that, we end Giovanni's occupation of Saffron City. Before taking on Sabrina, we fuse a Garvantula, and I love this floofy gal, and look how many babies! The only mom jokes I can think of Sabrina are about her anime backstory, which is wildly inappropriate, so let's just start the fight. The emote of Mike Wazowski and Celia comes out straight away, and this Executor fusion is amazing, but he goes down in one as well. Halsey? But after a bunch of back and forth, this thick lady takes quite a while to put down, but we managed to do so, staying above half. Our final Pokemon is Hitmonbuffet, and honestly, it's perfect. And with that, badge acquired. Skipping in, it's time for us to face off against Blaine and this fire Pokemon. And we have no better contender than our Manphy Mama herself. Origin Pulse absolutely tears through this team, with only Lapizard really needing any work. But with that being said, Volcano badge is ours. Team Rocket is outside harassing this ferryman, asking for a free ride to Mount Ember. He tells them that they need a ticket for the boat. Then they remember they're criminals and just steal it. I don't know why he left the keys in the ignition. While on our way to Mount Ember, we find a Regigigas. Normally the Zapmakuno fight is rendered basically useless by moves like Rock Slide and Discharge, but our team of Kangas and Roos do not have those moves. And I don't really have anything in my box either, so we're gonna see how this goes. Pearl comes out first, and I just need to try to find a way to deal with these things. I get Zapdos way down into the red, but she goes down. My first box legendary team member on any of these runs. That's such a clutch teammate. You shall be missed. Mother Duck comes out next, and I finish off Zapdos, and I get hit for pretty decent damage. And Aeroblast does basically nothing as I'm knocked below half. And then into the red? So how dare these perks disrespect their mother? I send in Figment assuming I can at least deal with Articuno, but stupid me set up the rain by existing, so I don't even get to do that before going down. I'm sorry, Figment. You'll always be my favorite Disney Parks icon. Galvacon didn't even get a nickname, so you can see how this goes. Setting in the father of all dragons to go up against Moltres ends the battle quickly enough, forcing the birds to defuse. With his plans thwarted again, Giovanni storms off to rethink his life. Before taking on Giovanni for the Earth Patch, we need to rebuild our team. Fusing our Reggie, we get this awesome Mama. I love how all the other Reggies are surrounding it like Lugia is with the birds. Next, we fuse Blastoise, and I wish this was like Bowser with Bowser Jr., but it's still really good. Giovanni has returned to Viridian to talk to his mother about what he should do. She tells him to go back to working in the gym, so now we're here to collect. Bikeda just looks like he tripped and fell, and he falls to a surf, and so does Geojedge. Glycemance is a beefcake, but after getting healed up a few times, he switches into Martu, and just dies. After taking a huge hit, we knock it into the red, but the Swubnub has water absorb. Swapping into Titan, this takes way more hits than I expected to, but we secure our final badge in the process. Rando is waiting for us by the league entrance. He shows that he too has collected all 8 badges. He asks again if we're proud of him, and again doesn't even give us the opportunity to answer, throwing in Duntic. This guy is such a sweetie, but we take it down in 2 and Raichan down in 1. Primesoul's basically a joke at this point, and why is Meowvar looking at me like that? Okay, Duet is a little shy guy. He knocks us pretty low, but we get it down quick. And okay, this is best doof. Look at those shades. He whirlwinds our Titan, and a few crunches end the battle. Now they're at the Pokemon League gates. Let's go ahead and take a look at our team before we head on in. We have Bowsette with Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, Surf, and Protect. Leota with Shadow Ball, Confuse Ray, Thunderbolt, and Dark Pulse. Mother Duck with Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Aeroblast, and Psychic. Titan with Zen Headbutt, Heavy Slam, Crunch, and Ice Punch. Targaryen with Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Dizzy Punch, and Dragon Claw. And finally, Scramble with Toxic, Flamethrower, Minimize, and Soft Boiled. Lorelai's up first with the Rice types. Now, I usually like to just do a setup and sweep, especially when I'm playing Harcore Nuzlocke, but until Targaryen gets level 61, we're gonna just have to bring the cheese. This Coffin with Nipples paralyzes us right away, and after we get it down to the deep red, I start cheesing out with Minimize. After maxing it out, we go for the Toxic, but not before being paralyzed for like 7 turns in a row. From here on out, we waste all of our healing items, and I don't even think this thing can hit us, but eventually we get the KO. Up next is this Penguin, and we're already out of flamethrowers because when you use a TM in this game, you do not start with full PP. So we poison it and just try to stall it out, but Endeavor does exist, so I swap into Leota, taking it out with a Thunderbolt. Doofree is a silly little guy, and Arcduck is majestic, but it only takes 2. Okay, Millirem. Got milk? Swapping the Titan, we go for a Slam, and after 3, we secure the win. Bruno and his fighting types are next. Fighting is a huge issue for us since we're all normies, but let's get rolling. Mother Duck comes in and KOs Chinlu, and after Naruto uses up all of Bruno's potions, this giant Lucario head comes into battle. A Psychic takes it down in 1, and then we take out Kurama right after. Murray is so smug, but he's also so dead. Ryotam is his final Pokemon, and Bruno always seems to get the short end of the stick in these randomizers. Okay, Agatha is very spooky, but lucky for us, we have Arcos Goggles. She kicks off things with Littens, who isn't even a cat in this game. Mizazard has an excellent hat, but after a Dragon Dance, we start slashing at the guy, taking it down as Agatha wastes all her potions. Dialavoire is awesome. Look at this color scheme. And thank God it doesn't have Levitate. So after we almost get KO'd ourselves, we can take it down. Next, we break these scissors in half, and this Aerodactyl wastes its opportunity to kill us, and we secure our 3rd win. Lance is our final Elite Four battle, and he loves dragons. He refers to himself as the mother of dragons. And I don't think he saw the last season of that show. Reservoir is magnificent, and I do not know why I always forget that the Gardevoir body is fairy. Come on, man. This is gonna make things annoying. Setting in Scramble, my new plan is just stall this mommy out. Lance heals up a few times as I set up evasion on my end. Since my only directly attacking move is Flamethrower, I know once I can keep the poison on, I just kind of need to sit there. I keep myself topped off as he hits me with way more than she probably should with +6 evasion, but we finally take it out. Hacks Chomp, oh my god. But we do the same thing here. He heals up once, but then we just kind of whittle him down until he stays down. You know what? I feel like I see Dragofinch a lot, but you know the plan. Bye-bye. Okay, Pikarom? Why do you have to have both Gen 5 box legendaries, my dude? And finally, Munair is such a cutie. The Synchronize isn't ideal, but luckily I can keep myself topped off and we defeat Lance in the most boring way possible. Rando was waiting for us at the back of the Champion's Chamber. He confesses that he only started this journey and made such a big deal out of his accomplishments because he just wanted our Kangas to be proud of him. Breaking down into tears, he finally gives us the opportunity to answer. I am proud of you, Rando. He breaks down into tears as Titan lifts him up. I don't know how big Regigigas is, but I imagine a teenager can be put into his little pouch. Titan pushes the tears from his eyes as Rando readies his first Pokeball. One last time, he asks. Maglery is his first Pokemon, and I'm not sure why, but the custom sprite specification on this champion battle doesn't seem to work right. Not really having a good option, I keep tightening it, knocking him down to half, but then I switch into Bowsette. Even though this thing's half water, I keep on using Surf, wasting all of his potions and eventually taking him down, but not before my berry goes off. Prime Soul is up next, swapping into Mother Duck. He goes for the OP Annihilate strats, but too bad my HP stat is huge. Fly Free sounds more like an instruction than a name, but after managing to get the freeze off with Ice Beam, we take him down. Chargar bothers me. Like, it just bothers me. So I poison him, and I can't swap out because of Fire Spin, so I just do my usual setup from here, and he slowly takes himself out. Electro makes 3 bad fusions, but at least this one's in a good mood. But after knocking him low, he swaps into the mightiest Furret you've ever seen. Fahrenheit obviously resists my only damaging move, so we set up the poison and let it work its magic. He also just keeps on spamming me first. This is an issue I have with randomizers, because they only have their 4 most recently learned moves, and it's based off both Pokemon, which means by the end game, a lot of times it just ends up being nonsense. But with that, we managed to take Rando out, becoming the Pokemon League champions, and that is how I beat a Pokemon Infinite Fusion Hardcore Randomized Nuzlocke, using only Kangaskhan Fusions. If you're still watching, please subscribe. You know you want to. And again, it would make my wife and mother very proud of me. Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas or mama figures out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next week for another run. See ya.